Okay, so I'm going to kind of take you through my process of how I edit some of my astrophotography. I don't really do a whole bunch, as you'll probably see in a lot of these. I just kind of mess with some of the colors, and later on I'll go through and kind of pull out some of the details that I don't like. But basically what I'm doing here is adjusting the color, the tint, the temperature, highlights, contrast, and the biggest thing I think is the clarity. That's going to be your best friend in editing astrophotography, because you want to try to bring out as much light as you possibly can in the image. And occasionally I'll adjust, the vibrance or the saturation, but most of the time the color's the way I need it to be. And occasionally I'll check some other stuff, but for the most part I just stick with the colors. And I usually pick a few of my pictures that I've taken and upload them all into Lightroom and then just edit them all at once. And I'll, play around with some of the temperature and the tint of the image, and kind of see what I want. And that's like mainly what I do a lot with my photography, is just kind of like play around and see what I like. I think that's a lot of the best way to learn, especially with this type of stuff, is you can go through and get a bunch of really, really bad pictures, but all the ways not to take an astro photograph, if that's what you want to call it. Especially with stuff like this picture, the clarity is a big, big element in it, and because without that, a lot of the little tiny stars that you can't really see in the background, they won't come out without boosting the clarity. And with a lot of with your typical photograph, using a lot of clarity doesn't really suit it well. It's all about, and hey, you can kind of see what I'm listening to at the moment. A lot of photography isn't really suited well for a lot of clarity. But this is one where it's really, really important, I think, in my opinion, to really bring out the little details in the images. And basically I'm just kind of doing the same thing throughout the rest of these. I'm just kind of going through and seeing what I like and what I don't like. And usually once I find a specific way that I like to edit some of the previous photos, I know exactly what I want to do from then on out, so it's easier for me to just go through and just click, 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 and get it done. And then I run into some like these, and clearly they're not anything that I really want to keep, and so I'll just kind of flip through and find one that I like. Something like this one and the next couple are really close, but they're just slightly out of focus, and so I don't really want that. And then you get some like this one, where it doesn't really need a whole bunch, just a little bit of boosting here and there, and it's ready to go. But that's basically like the lighting and coloring aspect of how I edit my astrophotography. And next I'll kind of go into how I take out things that I don't think are necessary.